Everyone wants a Rolex. That is until they see that low-end models can cost $5,000 and high-end models like a Daytona or GMT Master II can easily eclipse a $20,000 if not $30,000 price tag. So what are some alternatives to Rolex that won't break the bank? Well, first, let's go ahead and lay out some parameters. All of these watches come in under $1,000. On top of that, every single one of them will have a mechanical movement because, in my opinion, that's going to give you a lot more of a higher end feeling than a battery-powered quartz watch would. Lastly, all of the watches that we mentioned here will be linked in the description down below if you do want to go purchase one. Now, before we get into specific watches, I feel like I have to mention modded SEIKOs. If you want the Rolex look for under $500 with an automatic movement, you should consider getting a modded SEIKO. From the Daytona to the GMT Master II to the Submariner to the Datejust, all of them have modded SEIKO equivalents, and truthfully the options are endless when it comes to modded SEIKOs, and if you want that Rolex look at an affordable price, they are the best way to get it. What if you don't want a modded SEIKO though? What if you want a watch that can stand on its own, has its own brand history, and doesn't just copy Rolex, but has its own style as well? Well, that's what we're going to be giving you in this video, so let's jump into it. First off, let's talk about the Rolex Daytona. Now, for this, we're going to need a chronograph, and that can be extremely hard to find for under $1,000 with a mechanical movement. However, there is one very solid option from Tissot. It is the Courtier Automatic Chronograph. With this watch, there are two dial options, all white or all black, and both feature a 43mm case size and are made out of stainless steel. Each of them comes with a metal band, and this can all be picked up for under $975. However, the most popular Rolex model is arguably the Submariner. And luckily, there are tons of different great high-quality dive watches under $1,000 that can look and feel like a Submariner in a lot of ways. First off is the Orient Cano. With this watch, you get a classic dive watch with a day-date complication and a ton of different style options. And they can all be purchased for under $550. Orient is a Japanese watchmaker that actually produces its own in-house movements, which makes them stand out against all their budget competition and is a great way to pick up a reliable watch without breaking the bank. Orient isn't the only place to look though for a budget mechanical dive watch. Timex also has a great dive watch called the Navi XL Automatic. This watch has a 41mm case size, green, red, and black bezel options, and can be purchased for just $260. Truthfully, Timex makes incredibly sturdy watches at this price point, and we actually just did a review of the Timex Hodinkee Waterbury collaboration, which you can check out at the eye at the top of your screen. Next up is the GMT Master II, and this sits right up there with the Submariner in my opinion as one of the great popular Rolex models. Sadly, finding a GMT with the Rolex look under $1,000 with mechanical movement proved to be very, very difficult. So while we are going to give you two great GMT options, which actually have their own unique style and look, in my opinion, in some ways better than a GMT Master, if you want that GMT Master look, modded SEIKOs is probably where you're going to want to live. You're going to want to look at those and see what you can find there because there are some great modded SEIKOs that have that GMT Master look for under $1,000. However, the Bulva Wilton GMT is an absolutely stunning watch that actually has a map imprinted onto the dial with two color options. You have a full GMT complication as well as a date complication and a 43mm case size, all for $900. Truthfully, an amazing watch with a very unique style. People will see this on your wrist and go, whoa, that is cool, especially when they see the map on the dial. As far as the Swiss watchmaking companies go, Tissot does have a great GMT option, and please forgive my pronunciation on the model here. I'm going to put it on screen so you guys can actually read what it says, but Tissot's Chemin de Tourelles Powermatic 80 GMT features an ETA movement, GMT function, and a 42mm case size, all for $875. By the way, that 80 in the model there, that is an 80-hour power reserve, which is amazing. Truthfully, there probably isn't a better bang for your buck for a Swiss GMT out there. Tissot makes incredibly affordable watches, all with Swiss movements, and this has a GMT complication, which adds in even more complexity, again, for under $900. However, Rolex does make great dress watches, and the Rolex Datejust is kind of the quintessential starter Rolex, right alongside the Oyster Perpetual. And keeping with the Tissot trend, Tissot actually makes a great Datejust option for under $1,000, a third of the price of what a used Datejust would cost you, and it has an 80-hour power reserve. Specifically, we're talking about the Valid Powermatic 80 Silicon. This model features a fluted bezel, giving that Rolex Datejust look, and it even features a 41mm case size, which goes with the new Datejust 41s, kind of keeps that same size even as those new Datejust models. This can be picked up for $950 in a few different dial options, and again, Tissot just shining above the rest as far as Swiss watchmaking goes for a budget price. However, we can't leave out Hamilton from this list. They're at this point a Swiss company, but they have their own American roots, and the Hamilton Jazzmaster Viewmatic is a great option for a dress watch that kind of gives you that Oyster Perpetual or Rolex Datejust vibe. You can pick these up for $800, and with that you get a 40mm watch with a metal band and a super reputable history. Like I said, tons of rich history of Hamilton. If you've never looked into it, I suggest doing so. It's very interesting. But Hamilton is now owned by Swatch and has ETA movements, modified ETA movements, but still ETA movements, meaning you are getting Swiss watchmaking for an affordable price, all for $800. And sticking with Hamilton, but moving Rolex models, let's look at the Rolex Air King. The Air King is sure a pilot's watch, but also a beautiful dress watch, and Hamilton has a great option for that, specifically the khaki field mechanical. This watch comes with a metal bracelet, a 38mm case size, an 80-hour power reserve with a Swiss ETA movement, all for $575. This is a great price point from a great brand. We've already talked about how great Hamilton is, and it is an amazing watch that truthfully wears great on the wrist. The 38mm case size even keeps with the smaller side of things that the Air King 34mm does have. However, there are other Air King alternatives out there, specifically from Laco in their Pharaoh 42 model. This watch actually features a central hour hand and has the seconds on the outside of the dial, allowing for even easier readability of the seconds. It comes with a metal band, features a 42mm case size, and even has a crystal case back if you want to see the movement in there working its magic. This can be picked up for $460, and as far as Laco itself, this is a German brand that has a ton of history, and the watches are still made in Germany to this day. Lastly, let's talk about the Rolex Explorer, specifically the Explorer 1. There aren't too many watches, from what I've been able to find, that take the style inspiration from the Explorer 1, but there is one from Mido. Mido is a Swiss watchmaker that has roots all the way back in 1919, and the Adventure line has a 42mm case size, a clear case back, a modified ETA movement, and a subtle date complication. It also features very clear Arabic numbers on the dial, which I like personally, and that's what kind of leans it into that Rolex Explorer 1 Arabic number style look. At the time of recording, this watch is priced at $960, making it a great option under $1,000, and that ends our list. What other options did we miss? Are there other Rolex alternatives we should have mentioned? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.